Okay. Hey. Look who came out. Happy New Year.
There you go.
Man, I don't know. That's not I got to be in an emergency situation.
Oh,
I just walked in and I go right before you.
Hey, are you guys having one Papa?
No.
No.
There's only one connection and I got it.
I believe you. Because they keep telling me privacy here.
What was your best?
Did you try from the website? Did you try that?
I don't have a website and got it.
Yeah, because sometimes if you try to do it straight from here, it won't work.
All right. I can watch this.
No. I'm going to make it, man, if I just can't hear you.
All
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. It's time if you could please call the roll.
Trustee Sanchez.
Sometimes if you try
Trustee Red Plummer.
here,
Trustee Jones.
Here.
Trustee Lightfoot.
Here.
Trustee Peppers.
Here.
Trustee Brandon.
Here. All right, Trustee Peppers, can you bless us with the first prayer of the new year?
All right. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you, Lord, with joy. Joy in our hearts, blessing us for a new year. We want to thank you, Lord. Thank you for bringing us here. Thank you for bringing us through unknown COVID seasons. Lord, we thank you. You are the Almighty. You bless us every day. Lord, bless all the families, bless this village, bless all our political leaders, and all our community members. Lord, we come before you today, and we give thanks and honor to you. In the name of Jesus, we pray.
Amen. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, need a motion for approval of minutes for the committee as a whole and the Village of Maywood Special Board Meeting public hearings of the Board of Trustees on Tuesday, December 6, 2022.
motion to approve.
And a motion to approve by Trustee Reyes-Palmer.
Second.
Second by Trustee Jones. Are there any questions? Please call the roll.
Trustee Sanchez. Trustee Reyes Plummer.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
Aye.
Trustee Lightfoot.
All right.
Trustee Peppers.
Aye.
Trustee Brandon.
Aye.
Mayor Booker.
Aye.
Motion carried.
All right. Where did Ms. Banks just go?
I think she went to 50.
Okay, so we're. Ms. Banks, you ready?
I'm sorry.
You good? All right. 6, we're going to do oath to report, proclamations, announcements, and appointments. Starting us off with Community Engagement Manager, Ms. Banks.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Just have a few announcements. Justin.
You agree?
Okay, I'll talk about. We just have a few announcements. First, condolences. We want to extend condolences to the family of 2 longtime Maywoodians. Mr. Alonzo Clay, who is a retired Village of Maywood employee for both our Public Works and Police Department. He is also the husband of Fire and Police Commissioner Gloria Clay, and he was funeralized in December. Also, Mrs. Willie Mae Magnus, who was a former Village of Maywood employee in our Water Department, was also funeralized in December. We ask that you keep them and all of our residents who have experienced the loss of loved ones in your thoughts and prayers. We will also ask that you keep the congregations of both New Rock of Ages Baptist Church, located at 400 North 5th Avenue, and New Life in Christ Bible Church, located at 1642 South 15th. Both churches here in the Village of Maywood suffered devastating fires during the month of December. Services for New Life in Christ Bible Church will now be held temporarily at the Broadview Park District on Sunday afternoons at 1 p.m., and services at New Rock of Ages Baptist Church will still be held at their location. We will also at this time like to extend congratulations to all award recipients that will be honored this Saturday, January 14th, at Operation Uplift's 34th Annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration and Community Awards Gala. A special salute to two of our very own Village of Maywood awardees, Trustee Aaron Peppers, who will be receiving the Hometown Dream Weaver Award. This weekend. Some other upcoming events on Saturday, January 14th, the Divine of Harvest Faith Breakfast will be held at 9 a.m. at the Maywood Supportive Living Facility. Pre-registration is required. Also on next Saturday, January 21st at 9 a.m., there will be the Elements of a Healthy Maywood Community Breakfast. Both events can be found in the village newsletter, which was mailed out to all homes, as well on our Facebook and social media. Also, just wanted to let you know that Village Hall hours of operation. Village Hall will be closed on Monday, January 16th in observance of the Dr. King holiday. And also please note that on Wednesday, January the 18th, Village Hall will open at 9:45 a.m. due to an all-employee meeting. We ask that you please plan accordingly. We will also at this time like to welcome two of our new interns who were selected as part of the Jobs Training and Economic Development Program and will be working for the Office of the Mayor and Board of Trustees and the Community Engagement Department. Sharon Stingley, if you can stand up, and Stephanie Johnson. Both of these young ladies are Maywood residents, and they will be working not only in the departments I mentioned, but will be in the community and helping with a lot of different community engagement programs. At this time, I would like to bring up Coach Tyson, who is the coach of the Championship Proviso Bills football program. If you can come up at this time and let everyone know why you and these young men are here in the building today.
Oh, no need for a mic. I'm a coach. How you guys doing? Well, like I said, we have a great thing to come back and tell you guys. There's never been a Division I team in the state of Illinois to go down and place in Pop Warner's Super Bowl, or yet alone get to a regional or state championship. But you're looking at a team that did all of it. They went undefeated throughout the season. Nobody scored on us. That was the first time that ever happened. So we won the state championship. We won the regional championship against South Bend, Indiana. And then you get to the big stage where everybody wants to go. They want to go to Florida. So getting to Florida is the first part. Nobody's ever done it, but we did it. So once we got to Florida, we faced North Carolina first, and we beat North Carolina. So y'all can talk about that. And in the next round, which you're going to the semifinals, and we played probably the toughest kid. San Francisco. I mean, this kid was probably, my size, a 10-year-old. I'm not the biggest guy, but he's still. I gotta give it to him. He was strong, and we beat them too. And so looking at it again, as we make history, we made it all the way to the Pop Warner Super Bowl. Never been done before, and I don't know if you guys know, like, teams are privileged. They come and they have all the money, they save it up. Sometimes you're in these leagues and they don't tell you, look, you got 20 days to raise $20,000. And everybody go, no, you know what, we'll just take our state championship and we'll leave it at that. Not us. I sat there, I looked at Coach because he was wary. That's my coach right there, Coach. And sure, team moms, everybody's like, how are we going to do this in 20 days? I said, as long as we got each other, we squared away. And I said, when people see other people joining in, you'd be surprised how we can make magic. So I made a post and said, look, 20 days to make 20K. Watch this. I just knew God had his hand on us, but it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but Mayor, he said, he saw a post. I said, I don't know if you pay attention to this and that, but you got something going on in your backyard that's amazing. We got Village of Dixmoor and Proviso, Maywood, everybody's coming together to make something happen that never happened before. They made a portion, and we were still short, and he said, look, don't worry about it. You guys can go down and pick up a check tomorrow. And I was like, wait a minute. The world doesn't work like that, does it? But it did, and that right there was able not only to get us down to Florida, but you guys know where? Gatorland, Universal Studios, Disney World, all this type of stuff. We stayed in a mansion house with 10 bedrooms and an arcade. These kids will never forget this, and I want to say thank you, personally, like from the heart, because you don't understand. You understand. Where we're from, they already marked you off. And they already said you're not going to be able to make it anyway. So we'll get the slot to somebody else. But no, thanks to you, the board, everybody here, from the heart, I appreciate it. Guys, we top 2 teams in the country right here in your backyard. That's all I got to say. Thank you. Wait, have this.
We are the same.
They don't see you go.
Right.
Hey, how many come to high school?
That's senior right here. We got a whole other set that ain't even here, right?
Coach Pep leaves.
Hey, yes, sir. You guys step up, Jack. Step up.
Y'all the leaders in the show.
Y'all the leaders.
Y'all ready? 1, 2, 3. Ms. Banks, come over, please.
Say champions.
Champions. I gotta say thank you on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Congratulations, man. Awesome, man.
Oh, yeah. Thank you again. Okay.
congratulations again, Supervisor Bill. So this year y'all gonna actually come home with number one?
Yeah.
So
It's too close, you can say.
we're gonna work on raising money before?
Yeah. Because we already kind of yeah. Hey, y'all say thank you again.
Congratulations, guys.
Congratulations! We're proud of you.
Right, cupcake.
Oh, we forgot. He's making the cupcakes.
I'm gonna bring them out here.
Are you gonna bring them out there?
Thank you all.
Okay, cool.
All right, future pirates.
Come on.
Okay. All right, we have one more acknowledgement, but she's running a little late. So we're gonna move into committee of a whole agenda items. Financial management reports, item A, financial analysis for the month ending in November 30th, 2022. Financial report in the amount of $1,275,277.01. Item B, C, warrant list 200533, dated January 4th, 2023, in the amount of $2,754,984.05. We need to have at least one door open, Angela. Okay. Does anybody have any questions for finance? Thank you so much, Director Satchel. All right. 9, village manager reports for status reporting in regards to 2023 dates, Class C and Class E temporary license. We just have the update in regards to the Park District of all of their different licenses and agendas of events that they're going to have for the year. B, status report, formulating the Healthy Communities Foundation as a not-for-profit by the village attorneys for the purpose of attracting the federally qualified health center. And then the other one is a presentation. So for items A or B, does anybody have any questions before we go into the presentation? All right. Trustee Brandon.
Yes, I guess my question for Attorney Jerusik in regards to the village establishing a foundation. Have you had any previous experience in regards to a municipality establishing such a, program or entity, and how does that work? Because I know like the actual location or the address for the property over on Victor Washington is listed. So I guess what I'm trying to understand is, are we still marketing that property, or how are we, what's happening? And if you can just explain to me from the legal perspective, like what's the pros and cons of a village going in such a direction?
Attorney Jerusik.
Yes, Trustee, we do have experience. We have a tax attorney at Kleinthorpe and Jenkins that regularly creates 501c3 nonprofits for both private and governmental use. It's just really a little bit of paperwork and filling out forms and creating a corporate entity with articles of incorporation and organizing structure. It's very templating. It will be created for the purpose of attracting and satisfying the information requirements, for this federally qualified health center. So the reality is, if the program and the project doesn't get greenlit, we would just shut down the corporation. It would be open for one single purpose. It doesn't move forward, and get funded and get approved, then we would shut it down. There's minimal cost in doing it, but it is one of the eligibility criteria, the boxes you have to check in order to attract and to be successful in landing a qualified health center. It won't impact your ability to do something with that property should the property, find a better use. But we will have it not necessarily specific to that property. It'll be a very generic corporation for purposes of attracting and operating a qualified health center within the village of Maywood at a site to be determined. If we do have to identify that block, that would be one of multiple blocks that we would identify as. We would identify alternate sites and have the flexibility, to identify multiple
question, I guess, does municipalities have to, like, take the lead on this, or
Yes.
an outside entity take the lead on something of this nature?
Well, the goal of establishing the foundation is to have it moved out of the municipality into the foundation. That's the whole goal of the foundation. So in the reports that we've gotten from IFF, that's been on the board packet since August of last year, is the recommendation. So the next step is to go into the Health Resources and Service Administration to go into the process of the federal funding to get the project done and going. But we as a municipality can't do that. The foundation has to be established. There is no federally qualified health center that doesn't have a separate foundation. So it has to be established as a foundation. If at the point in time that we get to that, so like in the reports that have been being provided, it was initially 3 different sites that were looked at. So this was the one that got settled on. So the foundation is the next step so that funding can start getting acquired for it and so that we can go through the processes through the foundation. So the foundation has to be at least 51% residents who would actually utilize the services, and then the other 49 would be health professionals and fundraisers.
Yeah, you're really creating a separate organization board that will operate this. I don't know if you're familiar with NIPSTA, Northeast Illinois Training Board, but that's an entity that works, took over space up in Glenview when the old naval station went away. They train fire, police, public works. It's an entity I represent, and we created the same type of 501(c) foundation for that entity that was created by the intergovernmental agreement that takes in about 30 different municipalities. We took and created a 501(c)(3) nonprofit organization, so that entity, an arm of that entity, a separate independent organization, could do fundraising and be eligible for grants that the NIPSTA intergovernmental agency doesn't qualify for. So, with certain federal funding and certain grant funding, there's a need to have this nonprofit status in a nonprofit organization. And so again, it's very commonplace, something we have a lot of experience doing, and it certainly could help the village take the next step towards bringing this type of a project to town.
So is there another municipality that has done something like this?
Well, Chicago did, because they have one of these health centers. We've created 501(c)(3)s for a number of communities for a number of different, not this particular type of project, but for other types of grant funding. And we've created not-for-profits so villages can hold land in certain ways that allow for uses of land that aren't as restrictive as village-owned land. So we've done some creative things with 501(c)(3)s. But yeah, this is definitely within our wheelhouse and something that Don Runner, one of our tax municipal attorneys, would be able to handle without an issue.
Okay, you informed me that. I'll take a look at the city of Chicago situation.
Yeah, that would be your best, because that's the most recent, probably the closest facility to this proposed facility that has come online.
Thank you. Mayor?
Trustee Jones.
Yeah, a couple of questions just to kind of piggyback on the structure, and I'm kind of asking, putting my finance chair on, or the chair of the finance committee hat on. So from a budget perspective, I understand we're creating this entity for the purpose of trying to move forward this idea for 500 Fifth or South Fifth Avenue. What budgetary implications are there to this in terms of how this will be operated or funded? Is it strictly just it's going to be created so that we can qualify for other grants, or is the village prepared to support this at all? And then my next question is, how many people from the village of Maywood, whether it be staff or board members, are going to serve on this organization? And what's our kind of maintenance in terms of who's upkeeping this organization? Once we create the entity, who's responsible for managing this?
So this is the next phase of IFF and Trinity Health that funded the first feasibility study aspect of it. So when we first started talking about the IFF and the Federal Qualified Health Center, Trinity Health gave the first $30,000 to do the feasibility study, so it hasn't cost the village of Maywood any money. They are willing to help in regards to, we've been working with the Lawndale Christian Health Center, IFF, and Trinity Health and Loyola have been taking the most of the legwork into this. So at this point, as a part of their report, they're saying we can't do anything more until the village establishes the foundation. So that's where we are now. Any finances that would need to come from a village side, realistically, we would ask for that funding to come from Trinity Health or Loyola to help fund that the same way that they did the housing. The ability to look for the other funding, it's grant funding, but realistically, it's more federal funding that goes into consistently funding an FQHC for the into the term. So all of the FQHCs that exist, like within our district of the 7th Congressional District, we have the most federally qualified health centers in the district, in the nation. So realistically, we have to go through this step to actually get to the point of being federally funded. In regards to the layout of the board, the same way to initially get this started, we would go through it the same route as the commissions of appointment through the board. So it would be getting residents, we're getting the businesses. So right now you have it where Lawndale Christian will be at the table, IFF will be at the table, the Illinois Department of Health Services will be at the table, Chicago, Cook County Public Health will be at the table. So a person from those types of entities would serve on this board, not necessarily our board. So the professionals that are in health, and then also some philanthropic people who actually fundraise and help get the money on the foundation side versus the federal side would also serve on the board. But the other 51% would be just everyday regular resident that would actually utilize the facility.
Attorney, I don't know if you have anything to add to that. I guess that makes sense. So just to clarify, so our board will have governing power to assign the appointees of this 501c3. But we're not necessarily serving on the actual entity's board, but we're going to have appointment power.
So we would do the first aspect of the appointment for the foundation. Then from that standpoint, the advisory council of that foundation, the foundation's board, and those people, they would run the foundation. They would report back. They would report back to the board of different things of progress of what's going on, but that's more so of them making sure that we actually get to a ribbon cutting of a facility being built that doesn't have to do with the day-to-day operations of government.
Once that foundation is created and established, its governing board and operating board will take over, and this board will have no more role. They'll be an independent legal entity, and they'll have their own kind of charter, their own governing operating articles of incorporation, articles of operation, charter, and they will run based on the charter, which is to attract funding for this type of facility, to operate the facility within the permissible federal guidelines and regulations, and so it will be a separate legal.
Like a standalone entity. And we have no responsibility
no
toward
responsibility, no liability, no control over. You're just essentially giving birth to it. Is the way to look at it, and then you just set it free, and then it will operate on its own.
Okay, I like that. Thank you.
All right. C, presentation from ATS Bureau Mobility to continue the red light camera program and proposal to add additional red light camera locations.
You can stop stepping up. Just real quickly, they've been working with the Maywood Police Department for several years with the red light cameras, and things seem to be going very well. So he has a couple of proposals to, widen the range of the cameras and see what we can do. I can pass those out for you when we get started.
Is this working? So I appreciate the opportunity to be back in Maywood. I was with you all in December of 2021 when we agreed to do a one-year contract and then evaluate some additional intersections that some members of the board had an interest in having photo enforcement possibly deployed there. And so we ran that analysis based on the list of streets that was provided to us by the chief of police, and these are the results, and we'll go through them. But before I start, I want to say that, you know, I know it appears to you all that I only make it to Maywood once a year, but that's absolutely not the case. I've actually been in Maywood a couple of times in 2022, but I've had constant contact with your police department. So you have a thing that you all approved when you first did this program called your business rules. And that is how the village of Maywood would like to see their program run. So you make all your decisions, and then we follow those rules. We do not tell you how to run your program. Well, this year we had to do a major update, and we worked closely with PD to get that done, and we appreciated their willingness to work with us on that. Another major issue that came up is, and I know you all are aware of this, photo enforcement in Illinois has a bad name at times. And we, Vera Mobility, have never been in the press. We've always been an ethical player on the field. But others have not. And so we knew that there was a news story coming out, and there were a ton of FOIA requests going to many of our Illinois clients. And so we got ahead of the ball and reached out to Maywood PD, got them up to speed on their IDOT reports, worked with them, and we were up to speed. And so if that story ever came out, Maywood would not be a target of that story. So we've had a great relationship, and we appreciate it very much. This invoice sheet is just to show you where the cameras are now in your village. That's really the only purpose of it. The next one is, so if you look, it'll tell you the name of the intersection, and the arrows tell you what will be monitored, okay? So on the first one, it's 2 lefts, 2 straights, and a right. Could be monitored by 1 camera at that particular intersection. Halo is just a type of camera that we use, so it's not really that important to you all. The amount is that we would only need 1 camera to cover those lanes, okay? And then the predicted violations after maturity is, on this particular camera, is 5.19. To put that into perspective, 5.19 is a very robust intersection. That's a significant amount of violations. And I want to go back because I've been your account manager for almost 11 years. Maywood expanded once before, years ago. I think you may have been on the board at that time. And they put them in locations, and it actually started to, the revenue declined significantly. And so we entered into an agreement. We removed some cameras that were sort of underperforming, and we got back to a financially healthy spot working with you all. So we have better data today than we did when we did that last expansion. A fair way to look at this is any intersection that has over 3 violations a day can pay for itself and provide additional revenue to the village. So I know that your program and your PD focus on safety. I know the village board has always focused on safety, but there are financial implications, and I think we have to be honest and talk about them. The way our program works is just like it did when we installed your cameras before. There's no initial cash outlay by the village. Vera Mobility will take all of the financial risk in putting them in. The one thing that we would ask is that, and we talked about this last year, is that we get a multi-year agreement so that we can get paid back over time. So hopefully what I was asked to do last year, this meets that requirement. That was certainly the goal. You can look through, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. So westbound 17th and Harrison at 3.79, southbound 1st Avenue Madison at 3.69, and then you see northbound 5th Avenue Washington Boulevard 2.7. Now, there may be a reason that you want a camera there. I mean, there may be, other reasons that you would want to have a camera at that location. You actually, when the decision was made to go from 9 cameras back to 5 cameras, you actually the chief at the time had a camera at a location where he knew it wasn't necessarily breaking even per se financially, but it was important to him from the village's perspective to keep that camera there because so many other things took place there. And you may not know this, but like we get video requests all the time for recreating accidents or you know, if there something negative has taken place, do we happen to see anything going on during this period through our cameras? And we send that video, and that's done at no additional charge to the PD. So it provides additional benefits. Southbound 5th and Washington at 2.55. 9th and Lake is at 3.68. 5th in Chicago is at 2.52. 5th in Chicago southbound is at 2.68. 1st Avenue and Lake is at 3.39 and 3.45 and a 2.51. So really, of the locations we looked at, 3 are decisions you'll have to make that do we want a camera there from a safety standpoint or traditional evidence standpoint. The rest of them are very solid locations for you all.
All right.
With that, I'll open up to any questions.
Well, thank you very much for the report. Thank you guys for your continued partnership. So this report, I would say, really needs to be sent over to our Public Safety and Police Accountability Committee so that the chair as well as the police department could go over, look at each one of the recommended locations. I'm seeing that some of the locations that residents are looking for aren't necessarily here. So I think that this would be a more robust conversation within committee. And then once the committee comes up with a recommendation for a comeback and a resolution in regards to it. But thank you for the information, and we can review it and move forward.
So perfect. There's 2 other things I want to cover. If you have some additional intersections that your citizens have asked to consider, we will be happy to try and run that. I will tell you that department is overburdened, but if you get it to us, we'll see what we can get done about getting that data to you as well. And then the other thing is this: the contract actually was set to expire on 12/31/22, and we worked with you all and received an email to go month to month with under the same terms as the previous agreement, so that we can continue to provide services to you while you all take the time to hash this out.
Okay. Well, Chair, Trustee Peppers?
Yeah, the 26th at 6 o'clock, right?
Would you like me back for that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's the committee meeting when they would go over this report more in detail with you.
So here's the funny thing. I'm very happy to come back.
Are you gonna be out of town?
No, I live in
okay.
I live in Naples, Florida. So I flew up,
Gotcha.
but I have about 15 clients up here, so it works out great. I mean, I can do a lot of stuff while I'm up here. So I'm happy to come. But I actually showed up yesterday at 6 o'clock because I misunderstood. So I came to the door and I was like, I don't know. So I tried to do this yesterday.
All right. Well, we look forward to you discussing it with the committee and the committee coming back with a recommendation.
All right, we'll do. If you have any questions, prior to the meeting, just email me and we'll get them. Oh.
All right. So before we go into public comments, our acknowledgement that we were making before is here. So we're going to go ahead and pull this up.
You have it up there.
Welcome to CNN this morning.
Thank you for getting up early for us.
We are learning new details about the suspected targeted attack.
Victor Mood is notorious arms dealer. Is there a watch other countries now that he is a free man?
CNN this morning. Weekdays at 6 Eastern.
When the doctor comes in and says the word autism, you're overwhelmed with a barrage of questions. As a mother, Deborah Vines had many. She searched for answers in her Chicago neighborhood and found none for Black families. She searched for answers in wealthy areas where women in fur coats would tell her about programs that only cost $500. That's rough when you're trying to find money for groceries. Deborah tried to function for her son Jason, but spiraled into addiction and ended up in prison. When she got clean, she vowed to devote her life to help families like hers. And in 2007, she launched The Answer, Inc., so mothers and fathers didn't have to search like she had. There's a 24-hour hotline, co-ed parent support groups, and weekly classes to help young people acquire social and life skills. She also helps educate the community about how to recognize and relate to people with autism, including first responders, to prevent the kind of misunderstandings that have led to tragic consequences. So now, when families hear the diagnosis and ask, "What do I do?" they have an answer. Call Deborah.
You want me to pour it or you gonna pour it? We started really seeing a lot of behavior problems in Jason about 3 years old. Biting himself until he bled, headbutting you, screaming all the time. And in the Black community, resources were very, very limited. Handsome! You ready? Let's go. To get any type of assistance, I had to take a train, plane, bus, and a magic carpet to get there. The support groups that I found, they were in affluent communities. I was the only Black woman there, only person that had low income. I felt totally helpless, isolated, depressed, and the only way that I found some joy was with the drugs. I was a functioning addict. You still saw Jason with me everywhere I went, but I went to the gym. When I did finally get clean, that's when things started happening.
Hey, Jason.
Every single Saturday, we provide tutoring, nutrition classes, cooking, socialization, life skills.
Yeah. You're gonna count 1, 2,
3.
They're not just going to be taken care of,
the letter I.
they're going to be educated as well.
Can you start this for me? Yeah.
We want to provide them that outlet where they feel super special. We are a family, and I want the parents to be able to talk about what they're going through.
I feel like I've always wanted her to have the friend that she.
That's okay. That's all right. Yeah, we've all been there. Yeah. Having a child with special needs, we carry so much. So are we ready? With autism, we want to make sure everyone is educated. Jason had a medication meltdown where he was very, very violent. I had to call the ambulance, fire department, call the police. They came in with guns drawn. I'm telling them, there's no weapons. My son has autism. They didn't know how to handle him. They didn't know how to handle me. So first responders are trained to deal with our children.
Hey Jason, how are you doing? I'm doing good. How long has your mom been doing this kind of stuff?
Because he's smiling, it makes it a little bit easier. But what if you get a hold of somebody that's not smiling? People are afraid of what they don't understand. Advocacy is a gift. That's my high now. Jason has taken me places that I never thought that I would go, but it made me grow up to a woman that I never thought that I would be. Good evening. Thank you to my fellow autism mom, Holly Robinson Peete. So exciting. I ask that you guys give individuals living with autism, developmental, and intellectual disabilities the chances in our society to become the best versions of themselves, especially the adult population. We can empower them with acceptance and love. I encourage all of you to advocate and fight for more resources for Black and brown individuals. The playing field would never be diverse and inclusive until fair and adequate services are met. I sincerely thank you for opening your heart to autism. Join me and be a servant for the change today.
Ladies and gentlemen, can we all give a round of applause to the Deborah Vines? On behalf of the village of Maywood, on behalf of the Providence Township, on behalf of the Chicagoland area and the state of Illinois, and worldwide, because you're more than just the state of Illinois.
Yes.
We would like to extend this token of appreciation to Ms. Deborah Vines for all that you do within the village of Maywood and beyond. You're awesome. We love you. And with that, any words?
Good evening, everyone. Every time I see that film, I get a little emotional because if somebody had asked me, being 20 years ago, where I would be, I say dead. Because my life has spiraled into something that I never thought it would be. But when God gives you a vision and you ignore it and you do what you want to do, but then when you hear that voice and you come back and you give that voice from God the life that it should have, it's an amazing thing. But I'm going to tell you, the most important part about being a CNN hero for me is the light that's being shined on the disability community in the Black and brown underserved community. It's not about me anymore. I mean, I love all the accolades, but it's taking me places and just the village of Maywood, because people are like, where's Maywood? Maywood is in Proviso Township. Where's Proviso Township? And so I'm actually promoting the village of Maywood as I go about my journey through this amazing, amazing journey of the CNN heroes. I've been blessed. Holly Robinson Pete is actually honoring me at her gala. We're doing this amazing media training in Miami. So it's giving the answer, the opportunity to expand our services, not just in Maywood, but every community that's underserved. People are calling from everywhere asking what they can do, how they can do it. Can I help them? So this is really big, but thank you, Mayor. Thank you to the board. I appreciate you guys.
All right.
Say hero.
Hero.
All right, another round of applause for Deborah Vines. We got CNN heroes in Maywood. We got national ranking football leagues in Maywood.
Oh, man.
Maywood on the move. All right. All
10, public comment.
We have no public comments tonight, Mayor.
Have none. 11, village manager's report. Everything under the village manager's report is on the omnibus agenda. Does any trustee have any questions in regards to the monthly reports provided or anything that's on the omnibus agenda? All right, hearing none. 12, village attorney report. No report. 13, trustee committee report. Omnibus agenda has PAYCOR. Does anybody have any questions from the Fiscal Accountability and Government Transparency Committee? And then we also have F on the omnibus agenda for Planning and Development Committee for the re-subdivision for the billboard we've been talking about for about 3 years now. All right, with that being said, we're going to go to 14 special village board meeting agenda items. 15 omnibus agenda items. I need a motion. Can everybody do it at once? We close, y'all. Somebody got to read tonight. If somebody makes the motion, I'll read it.
That's fine. I'll read a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by trustee Jones, second by trustee Reyes-Plummer. Are there any questions? All right. Are you going to read it again?
I'll go ahead. Don't worry.
Hit it.
All right, 15A, motion to approve the monthly financial report in the amount of $1,275,277.01. B, motion to approve the warrant list 200-533 dated January 4th, 2023 in the amount of $2,754,084.05. C, motion to approve emergency purchase and installation of a new engine from Wiggett Truck Center of Maywood, Illinois for public works vehicle in the amount of $29,394.95 with a waiver of the competitive bidding process. D, motion to approve an emergency contract with Frazen Plumbing Incorporated for Police Department cell block plumbing repairs in the amount of $12,010. Frazen Plumbing is in River Forest, Illinois with a waiver of the competitive bid process. 15E, motion to approve the purchase of trench shoring equipment from National Trench Supply in the amount of $836.50. National Trench Supply is in Elmhurst, Illinois with a waiver of the competitive bidding process. F, motion to approve formation of Healthy Communities Foundation, IRS 501c3 not-for-profit by village attorney for purposes of attraction of a federally funded qualified health center, 500 block of South 5th Avenue. 15G, motion to approve updated engagement letter with Inman and Fitzgibbons with 2023 billable hour rates and charges for worker compensation litigation defense services. Attorney Jennifer E. Cochran. 15H, resolution authorizing the approval and execution of a payroll services agreement with PayCor Incorporated, a program agreement with PayActive Inc. and related documents for village employee payroll services with the agreements and related documents attached as Group Exhibit A. 15I, resolution approving and authorizing the execution of a plat of re-subdivision for a 2-lot re-subdivision of the School District 89 parcel located at 1600 South 10th Avenue on the north side of Harrison Street between 11th Avenue and 12th Avenue in Maywood, Illinois, with the plat exhibit as attached as Exhibit A. 15J, resolution authorizing and approving the execution of an amendment, Exhibit B, project summary to a community development block grant disaster recovery program subrecipient agreement between the County of Cook and the Village of Maywood for increased grant funds totaling $3,464,000 and for the appropriation and expenditure of CDBG funds and Village General Corporate Funds to pay for the project construction work and engineering services related to the project I-290 Corridor Storm Relief Project with the amendment Exhibit B, project summary attached as Exhibit 1. 15K, resolution authorizing the approval and execution of an amendment to agreement between the Village of Maywood and the Edwin Hancock Engineering Company for furnishing professional engineering services for the I-290 Corridor Storm Sewage Separation Project. Phase 3 Construction Engineering Services Community Development Block Grant, Disaster Recovery Project, and the appropriation and expenditure of CDBG program funds and village general corporate funds to pay for the construction engineering services related to the project, with the agreement attached as Exhibit A, see item J for attachment. 15L, resolution authorizing and approving the execution of a low bid response and construction agreement between the Village of Maywood and Aqua Contractors Incorporated in the amount of $7,700,000 to complete the I-290 corridor storm sewer separation project and authorize the expenditure of community development block grant program funds, Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago funds and village general corporate funds to pay for the construction work, with the low bid response and construction agreement attached as Group Exhibit A, see item J for attachment. 15M, resolution authorizing the approval and execution of an agreement between the Village of Maywood and the Edwin Hancock Engineering Company for furnishing Phase 1 preliminary and Phase 2 design engineering services for the appropriation and expenditure of Invest in Connecting Cook County grant funds to pay for the engineering services related to the Prairie Path Lights and Safety Improvements Project, 5th Avenue to 22nd Avenue, with a copy of the professional service agreement attached as Exhibit A. 15N, resolution authorizing the approval and execution of an agreement between the Village of Maywood and the Edwin Hancock Engineering Company for furnishing Phase 2 design engineering services and Phase 3 construction engineering services, and for the appropriation and expenditures of village general funds to pay for the engineering services related to the 2023 CDBG roadway improvements project. 19th Avenue from Van Buren Street to Winfield Scott Park, Huron Street from 5th Avenue to 4th Avenue, and 6th Avenue from Humier Lane to Walton Street, with the agreement attached as Exhibit A. 15O, resolution approving the content of and or release of certain closed meeting minutes of the Board of Trustees and the Committee of the Whole of the President and Board of Trustees of the Village of Maywood 2022 full year review. 15P, resolution authorizing the approval and execution of change order number 1 to a master service agreement addendum to agreement, installment payment agreements, and statement of work with Impact Networking LLC for support services and purchase and maintenance of IT equipment. 15Q, ordinance approving deductive change order number 1 in the amount of $400,272.96 to the construction contract between the Village of Maywood and Aqua Contractors Incorporated for a new project contract price of $7,299,727.04 for the 290 corridor storm sewer separation project. R, ordinance ratifying and authorizing the creation and issuance of a Class C liquor license, temporary license to sell and transfer liquor on municipally owned property to applicant Maywood Park District for the special community event to be held at the 200 South 5th Avenue building. Special event date December 3rd, 2022. 15S, ordinance authorizing the disposal of surplus personal property owned by the Village of Maywood, computer and electronic equipment. 15T, ordinance approving the authorizing execution of terms sheets with the County of Cook, Illinois, doing business as Cook County Land Bank Authority for the acquisition of real properties located within the Village of Maywood at 1308 South 2nd Avenue, 512 South 5th Avenue, 1203 South 5th Avenue, 1323 South 5th Avenue, 1500 Madison Street, and 1510 Madison Street, with the term sheets attached as Group Exhibit A.
All right. Please call the roll.
Trustee Sanchez. Trustee Reyes Palmer.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
Aye.
Trustee Lightfoot.
Aye.
Trustee Peppers.
Aye.
Trustee Brandon.
Aye.
Mayor Booker.
Aye.
Motion carried.
All right, 16 new business, none. 17 old business, none. 18 Board of Trustee comments, none. 19 for discussion only, none. 20 closed meeting. We need to go into closed session to discuss A, pending litigation, as well as D, the purchase or lease of real estate property for the use of village. E, the setting of price for sale or lease of property owned by the village.
Motion to go into closed meeting session.
Second.
Motion by trustee Brandon, second by trustee Reyes-Former. Are there any questions? Please call the roll.
Trustee Sanchez. Trustee Reyes-Plummer.
Aye.
Trustee Jones.
Aye.
Trustee Lightfoot. Trustee Peppers. Trustee Brandon.
Aye.
Mayor Booker.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. Everyone have a lovely and beautiful night. Thank you guys so much for coming. We're done.